what I've got over here. Alright, welcome in everybody. Well, as you see here, got a bunch of different airbrushes laid out. Well, the reason being is I want to talk about airbrushes. For beginners, that's probably the biggest question. Which airbrush should I get? Well, these are all the brushes I have acquired. There's one that's missing because I have sold it to someone a long time ago that's needing one. But I kind of want to give y'all just kind of a rundown. I got some low-end ones, I got some high-end ones, and let y'all kind of have my thoughts and my opinions on these different airbrushes that I have used. Maybe that, if you're just if you're thinking about getting into doing lures or anything with an airbrush, really, maybe this information will help you to figure out which one you want to get. So I guess first I need to kind of separate these according to price, roughly, because price does vary quite a bit depending on where you go, because there's one that I have that's pretty costly but I actually got a heck of a deal on it. My very first airbrush was actually this one right here. This is a Masters airbrush. This is actually the G22 model. This one comes with a 0.3 needle setup in it. The cup is fixed to the airbrush. This isn't bad for starting out. A lot of people actually still use the Master branded airbrushes. Again, I'm not endorsed by none of these either, and I'm not knocking any of them, so don't take it that way. But I will say that the Masters airbrushes do seem to be very hit and miss on getting a good one and a bad one. I don't know if it's a quality control thing. I'm not sure there. Because I will tell you, price does matter, but to a point. Now these you can get pretty readily for, I'm going to say probably $30-$40 and under. You can pretty much find them anywhere along Amazon. You search up Master airbrushes, they're everywhere. They'll get you going. But my opinion on them is I wish I knew more and had better information about airbrushes when I was getting one. Because the one thing you have to remember with an airbrush is if you don't like it, then you're going to want to try and sell it. Most people will not want to buy a used Master airbrush. It's just usually not worth it. But again, they work really good just like any airbrush. They do have their limits. They don't seem, or at least this one didn't seem to be very consistent when I got more used to using airbrush and figured out more of how they function. I even picked it up a couple of weeks ago to try it out again. And it's definitely very inconsistent. I would use something like this more for just more overall coverage, absolutely no detail. Even though it's a 0.3 and it should be able to do detail, I would not use this one for a detail brush. This is definitely what I would call a throwaway airbrush. Your next one's up for affordability. would probably be more of the GSI Mr. Krios, the PS270, and the PS290. This one has a 0.5 millimeter, and the 0.5, 0.3, 0.2, 0.15. The bigger the first number after the point, the bigger the hole for the needle. So 0.5 has a bigger spray pattern, puts out thicker materials, puts out just bigger spray. Then like this one here, that's a 0.2. Now the GSI Mr. Krios, these are really good. The PS270, they also have one that's I think it's a PS271 or 277. I can't remember exactly. That has a smaller needle. This one has a 0.2. Now this one is a good workhorse. Even though it's a 0.2, this one it can do most everything a lure painter would need. It can spray pearls. It can spray color shifts. It can do detail work. It can do most everything, and it's pretty affordable. I can't remember exactly the price, but I want to say I know it was under $100. But other than that, I can't remember the price. I'd have to look it up. But I don't know if you can see it right there or not. But it is the PS-270 with the 0.2 needle in it by GSI Mr. Krios. And this one here, like I said, it's the same company, but it's the 290. It is what they call a trigger style. So this one works really good for doing overall coverage. If you're trying to put down a big base coat, like your lure, you want to put down your initial white. This does good for that because it sprays a really big pattern. You can get that white laid down really quick. But it does not do detail work. It is definitely a heavy spray, get it covered, get it done type airbrush. So that's one thing you got to keep in mind as well is the needle sizes. Like I said, this one's a 0.5. This one's a 0.2. The 0.2 will be more of your details and your general use, along with a 0.3. Like this one here is a 0.3 that I just showed you. The 0.5s and bigger, they're definitely not meant for detail work. They're meant for getting a lot of coverage with thicker materials. Now the ones I've been trying lately that I have absolutely fell in love with are actually the gallery airbrushes. Now, never mind. This is one I use every day. This is the Mobius 0.3 by Gallery. This one is definitely affordable. I want to say this one was around $60 to $65. Very well made. I was actually very impressed with it. But this one, like I said, is the Mobius 0.3. So this is a 0.3 needle, but it can do the same amount of detail as the 0.2 in the GSI Krios. It can spray pearls. This one is my new workhorse. This one will do everything I ask of it and then some. I've been really impressed. I'm trying to think if there's any other points I want to put on it. No, I mean, I'm impressed. It works really good. It's nice and smooth. The trigger on it is not very heavy. It's easy to work, so you don't get a lot of fatigue. It balances well. And balance is kind of important, but at the same time, it depends on how you hold it. But obviously, you don't want something that's super heavy that you're having to fight and hold up. These just balance really well in the hand position. But this is another one to look at. Again, that is Gallery. If I can figure out how to put links to the websites and stuff in the description, I will do that. If not in the description, I will physically type it in so you'll know where to find these. But again, this one is one that I have been staying away from. They've only been out for a couple years, and I decided this year to try it out. And the Mobius Point 3 has definitely become my new workhorse. And again, it's very affordable at the $60 range. We'll put it that way. This one will, for a start and airbrush, could actually be one that you never move away from, in my opinion. Now, Gallery also has one in a trigger style. They have numerous different styles. It's just the one I have. This one is the swallowtail. This is actually a collaboration style that they did with another artist, and so this is the Studio G edition. So it's got the red handle. They also have another one excuse me, I got tongue tied, by another guy named Barbatos Rex. His has a blue purple handle. I don't think they do anything different besides naming the artist on the handle, and the artist might get some kind of kickback on it too. I don't know. But this one comes. These come with 3 different sizes. They come, if I remember correctly, a 0.2, a 0.5, and a 0.7, if I remember right. They come with 3 different sizes, and I've used this one to spray all the way from overall coverage all the way down to going to the smaller needles, and it will pull some detail. I actually did these 2 spoons with it, testing its detail capabilities out. So these 2 spoons, I actually sprayed some lure patterns on them, and they were 100% done by the swallowtail. I'm using the appropriate size needle. So again, you want the smaller needle to do details, the bigger needles to do overall coverage and priming and stuff like that. So if you have, the reason I even have this one is I eventually am going to show my wife how to airbrush, and because she's very curious about it. But holding a normal airbrush in her hand like this, it really hurt. It's really hard for her. It's cumbersome in her hand, and it's not comfortable for her. So this trigger style is real comfortable. It's real easy. It's not any kind of strain getting your finger up in the air or anything like that. And having the different needle sizes, it definitely makes it a lot more versatile, just all around. So it, like I said, it can do primers, it could spray metallics, it could do thicker body paints. Like if you had like a craft paint that you wanted to spray, and you can get it reduced down, put it in here, because craft paint is a lot thicker than normal airbrush paint, and a lot harder to get to spray through. This one would be able to do that. But it can also use the small needle and do really good detail work, even though it's a trigger airbrush. This one right here, once you get used to it, can definitely do some very good detail work. I was very impressed. Now, one thing, now we'll cover that at the end. Now, you also have, like this one here, you notice it doesn't have a cup. This one's a siphon feed. This one takes little jars. I get one here that go into the bottom of it, and it sucks the paint up into the airbrush and blows it out. This style is really good for, again, for overall coverage. But they also have numerous styles with numerous needle sizes. So you could also use it for detail work. The big thing about a siphon feed is having that jar. If you're doing a big piece or you're using one color a lot that day, you can take that one airbrush or that jar and you can fill it up with that color and have that one airbrush dedicated to that color. Or you could have numerous different bottles set up with your colors where it's just an easier, quick change. You have one bottle with a cleaning solution you stick up in there to flush, the spray out and to flush the tip. And then you can take that bottle off, put the color on, give it a couple squirts, make sure the color's coming through right, and just go to town with it. These style are just as versatile as the rest of these with the top feed. They're just a siphon feed. This particular one is a Posh or a Pache, however it's properly said. And this one is the VL series. I use it mainly for spray and clear coat because it has a 0.55 needle in it. It also has a 0.7, I can't remember the exact number, it's a 0.7 airbrush. So this one can really spray some thick, heavy materials. So I use it for my clear coat duties. But it does have smaller needles that come with it, and it can definitely do that as well. And this airbrush is it's a kit. It has 2 jars, the airbrush, a hose, and a couple of other things for I want to say like $100 to $130. But again, you get a lot that comes with it. Pretty much if you get the VL set, which was what this come in, all you have to do is take this and hook it into your air supply system. So them type of airbrushes are really good. So let's recap really quick before I go through the last 2 airbrushes. You're looking around on a master's airbrush around the $30 to $40 range, give or take, unless prices have went up. Very hit and miss on consistency. Most of the time you will outgrow it, but it's not a guarantee. They're a good throwaway brush because they are cheap. And some people did get a good one, they stick with it and they don't move away. But there are people that get ones that definitely have issues and they move on to other airbrushes that work better, work smoother. It just kind of depends on what you're doing. You got the Gallery Mobius. Now they also have a 0.2. The 0.3, like this one here, is around $60 to $65. The 0.2 is around, I think, $75. And Gallery also has, like I said, the swallowtail. Now this one I want to say was around, we'll say around the $130. I thought it's somewhere around the $130 mark. I can't remember offhand, but it's in that range. We'll say that one's the $100 to $130 range. The GSI Mr. Krios PS290. This one is, if I remember right, it was around the $100 to $120 range. And the Mr. Krios PS270, which is a good workhorse, I want to say this one was around the $75 to $80 range. Now, the next 2 I'm going to show you are definitely more expensive, more on the high end. So my go-to detail brush is the Sotar 2020, made by Badger Airbrushes. This one comes with 3 different needles. It has a fine, medium, and a large. If I remember right, the fine is a 0.2. Excuse me. I honestly haven't tried the other needles. It come with the fine installed, and this one is very, very beautiful for detail work. It does really small lines. If I'm doing stencil work and trying to keep a really small, tight stencil line around the edge of my stencil, this one definitely does that. It's a very easy to work airbrush. very user friendly. As soon as you, and honestly, this one in the gallery, as soon as you rock back on that trigger, you have paint coming out. I'm very impressed with the Sotar. I wish I would have got it sooner. I actually acquired it, I want to say, toward the first of this year. And this one, depending on where you get it, this is a very strange airbrush. I can find these for $80. I can also find these for around $200. So you definitely need to shop around and see where you can find the best deal, because they're out there. Trust me, I picked this one up for $80, and it had all 3 needles. So definitely look around if you're interested in a Sotar 2020 and just a good working airbrush. Like I said, I haven't tried the medium and the large, but as good as it does with the fine, I have no doubt that the other 2 sizes would turn this airbrush into an absolute workhorse across the board. And they really made it easy changing their needles out. Instead of having to unscrew the back, and I'll show you that in a minute, to pull the needles out, this one you'll just undo this barrel right here and the needle slides right out. See, that's all you gotta do. You don't have to sit there and unscrew the back to expose the needle. You know, all these others, in order to change the needle, you gotta take the back off, then you gotta take this and loosen it, and then pull the needle out. Not on the Sotar. On the Sotar, it's right there, it comes out. You'll undo all your tip assembly and get the internal tip out of there. You'll put the appropriate one on for the next size up, because along with the needle sizes, they come with the tips as well. And it'd be very quick and easy to change out. Very impressed. Definitely, if you have the money, I would look into this, but I would shop around, because this is in the $80 to $200 range. Very wide window, but the deals are out there for it. You just got to find them. Now this one here is a Harder and Steinbeck. It might be Harder and Steinbeck. I'm not exactly sure how to say that properly, but it is their Infinity CR Plus. Now this is an older model. It is not the new one. I have a new one out that has titanium pieces on the inside. I do not have that one. This one is your $200 to $370 range. Very expensive, very high end, and its workmanship and craftsmanship definitely shows that. I don't use it very often anymore. It can be a workhorse because they have multiple needle sizes. I actually have a 0.18 in it right now. They have a 0.25 and a 0.45 that you can swap it out to now. The needle I currently have in it is actually a discontinued size that they don't offer anymore. So I've been kind of babying it. But it will do good detail work, and it does good coverage as well, swapping out to the proper needle size. You can spend a little extra money, and this little piece right here can actually adjust airflow, or you can do it at your regulator and stuff like that. But this is a really good one as well, but it's definitely high end. I had to set money back for a long time before I bought this one, because I wanted to try it. Everyone raved over it, and it's well worth its money, but it's definitely not something you would just want to go out and get if you're starting out. I will say that. You definitely want to learn how to use an airbrush before you get one of these. These are a little bit more picky. They like to be clean on the inside. They like to be maintained as far as, you've got to make sure they stay clean. You got to make sure everything stays good and tight and air sealed. Along with these being high end, they're very, very high maintenance. Parts on this one are very expensive. The needle and tip set. And if you was to like mess up a tip and needle and everything and needed to replace that, they cost as much as the Gallery Mobius. So in order for me to replace the needle, the tip, and the nozzle on the inside is going to run me about $60 to $70. That's the cost of this airbrush. So keep that in mind. But it's a good airbrush. I'm not going to take that away from it. It's definitely something, though, it's kind of like that treasured airbrush if you do get one. Try to take care of it, try to maintenance it, and please don't drop it because it's costly. One thing that you notice is some of these have cups that are welded in or attached, and some of these don't, like the Gallery and the Krios 270 and the Harder Steinbeck. They actually have interchangeable cups within their own brand. So I can take this little cup and I can put it on this Gallery, and I can take this Gallery or this Swallowtail, because they're both made by Gallery. They have the same threads up here. I could take these larger cups for the Swallowtail and put on the Mobius if I wanted to. So if you're doing something where you need a bigger cup, you can actually use that same airbrush, just get you the larger cup and put on there. I mean, I got cups that big that can go on here. Depends on how much you're doing. 99% of the time, I don't need nothing bigger than this little thing. Actually, this is probably still too big. The Harder Steinbeck, they have an interchangeable one, which I don't think I have it cleaned up enough to come off. There it goes. But it has the same system for itself as well, where their own cups will swap back and forth in their brushes. I do wish the Gallery had just a little knurling for their airbrushes, because I really don't even need that size of cup. I just need that neck, but I don't want to get them threads all covered up in paint. So yeah, I mean, like this one here. Let's see, this one's completely different. All of them have different threads. They are interchangeable between brands. So your Harder Steinbeck will have its own thread. Mr. Krios will have its own thread. Gallery will have its own threads. I mean, any airbrush with a threaded on cup will normally have its own thread. They're usually not interchangeable for the most part. The other thing about some of these airbrushes I like is like with the Harder Steinbeck, it has an air adjustment right here that adjusts the air pressure. The Krios 270 has the same thing right here. And I think them are the only ones I have that have adjustable air pressures on them. I do wish more airbrushes would install that. Once you learn how to use an airbrush, that becomes very handy. But I mainly just want to do this, show you the differences in the different airbrushes. I'm not really talking one up over the other. That's for you to make. I do have my own personal feelings. I do recommend to start off with either the Mr. Krios or the Gallery airbrushes, the Mobius airbrushes by Gallery, or the Swallowtail by Gallery. For one, they're all in a good price point for what they are. They all do really good workhorse type work, from primers to details. And I think you get more bang for your buck. And your resale, if you decide you don't want to airbrush anymore, you can recoup some of your money back by putting them up for sale. Whereas the masters, you probably won't. So what we're going to do is we're going to do this. I'm going to remove because obviously this one will probably not be something you start out with. So I'm going to put it back in its holder over here. Yeah, we'll put this one over here. I'll show you the ones I recommend. That way you have my recommendation. Because I know some people be like, well, what do you recommend? Well, I usually leave that up to you guys to use this information to figure out what's going to work for you. But I will give you my recommendation. And we'll do it in order here. I think that'll roughly be about right. Alright, so we'll start on the higher end. This one, like I said, is $80 to $200 depending where you find it. This is the Badger Sotar 2020. They have a set that comes with 3 different needles, which makes this a absolute beast of a workhorse. It has 3 different needles to allow you to be able to do thicker materials down to detail work. Very, very much worth its money. You definitely won't be disappointed. The only thing you do have to look out for is it does not come with a needle protector, and it cannot have one installed. So this one is at the low end of what I would recommend for a starter. But once you learn how to take care of your airbrush and learn how to not drop it, then this not having a tip protector will not bother you. We'll go with this one. I got them kind of messed up here. The Mr. Krios PS 270 is a very good starter as well. Has an adjustable MAC valve that will adjust air pressure. This will do most everything you put it to. It will do overall coverage, and it will do fine details with the 0.2 needle. You don't have to really swap this one around. You could, but even though it's a 0.2, it is capable of doing priming on small objects like lures, doing pearls, iridescence, and still capable of doing fine details. And this one is probably, like, I'm going to say probably the $40 to $80 range, because I'm not 100% sure. Now, my number one recommendation for a starting airbrush is this Gallery Mobius 0.3. It is a very capable airbrush. Even though it's a 0.3, it can do very good detail work. Feels very good in the hand, very well made, very easy to clean. And it can do priming all the way to details. And its price point is $60 to $65. And if you found you didn't like using an airbrush, you could put this one up on the market, get on Facebook or something, and it won't take you long to get some of your money back for it. So that's the reason behind that is this one. It will do everything you ask of it, and if you find you don't like doing airbrush work, or for some reason or other you want to sell it, you'll be able to resell it. You won't have to sit on it and feel like you wasted your money. And then if you have hand issues where you need to use a trigger style airbrush, this is my number one recommendation. This is the Gallery Swallowtail. They also have one of these trigger styles in the Mobius lineup. I haven't used it, so I can't give you my advice on it. But the Gallery Swallowtail, this particular one is the Studio G collaboration. This comes with 3 needles. It can do detail work to priming, and it can prime larger or medium to small items. And it works really good. It's very comfortable. You can use it. I spray like this when I use it. I know some people will spray like this. It depends what's comfortable for you. But it sets well in the hand. It's very comfortable. So that's my number 1 trigger style airbrush recommendation. But there you go. I don't know how long this video is. I've probably been talking for, it feels like to me, an hour. Hopefully it's not an hour for y'all. I know y'all won't want y'all getting bored. If y'all have any questions, as always, feel free to ask me. If you have any questions about any of these airbrushes, ask me. Leave a comment down in the comment area. Let me know what you thought of the video. Did it help you make a decision? Did it help inform you of anything that you didn't already know? And was it understandable? Hopefully I helped make everything very understandable. Hopefully I wasn't too ill-informed on something. But yes, if you like my videos, please like and subscribe as always. Hit the little bell notification so that when I do put a video out, you get notified of it. Please leave a comment if you enjoyed this video. And if you have any questions, leave a comment. I have no problem answering your questions. I try to check every comment every time they come in. But I'm just trying to help people that are getting started to weed through some of the information and maybe some small bits of information for those who've been doing it for a while. But I do love y'all, and I appreciate every one of you. Here in another couple weeks, we will be getting them spoons that's sitting outside from UV clear coat testing, and we'll bring them in. Now I've been through most every environment so far. But yeah, I love y'all, appreciate y'all. I hope y'all have a wonderful day, and we will talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.